All right, so I was in Canada for work recently, and one of my coworkers is Gen Z. I'm Millennial, and the guy said, and sorry, this is just his opinion, but what he said of Canada was that they all had 2015 fashion, and I'm just over here thinking like, what in the living fuck is 2015 fashion? Like, I have absolutely no fucking idea. Um, you know, a lot of people have said, and not just me, but like fashion has sort of stalled since the like early 2000s. Like if you look at like the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, they'll have a very, very distinct look and very different from the decade that came before. Now, if you ask me, coming from the middle of the 2000s up until now, it looks almost the same. We lost skinny jeans, which were a reaction to the 90s being overly baggy, but now we're back to the 90s bagginess. And, you know, I grew up in the 90s. I saw it the first time. I think at that time, people were so tired of seeing everything so baggy, and at that time they thought it was ill-fitting. They wanted to go back to an 80s look, or like, there's honestly some punk rock and emo in there too, where because it's the early 2000s, and that was influencing, I think, Lil Wayne and stuff. Like, the punk rockers and the hardcore kids wanted to emulate the cool stuff they saw in the 80s, as far as I know anyway, and that caused, them to go out and buy girls' jeans or whatever was tight, because they thought that was cool, and I thought it was pretty cool for a time, especially if you were in those scenes and stuff. It didn't look good on everybody, of course, but now there's a reaction. Maybe it's probably a lot of kids that grew up where everybody was just wearing tight stuff all the time, which is totally opposite from where I grew up. And then now we're back to like 90s bagginess, but they look exactly like how we used to look, almost exactly. Like I'm kind of waiting to see those Looney Tunes, those baggy ass Looney Tunes shirts to come back, or No Fear shirts, if you remember that, or whatever. Ain't Scared, that kind of crap in the 90s. But yeah, I think from many millennials' perspective, and maybe even Gen X, it's definitely boomer because they don't care, but like, it kind of feels like since the internet got fully saturated, because it wasn't really yet in the early 2000s, the ongoing theory is that the internet has caused fashion to stall. Like, okay, we went back to the 90s recently, we lost skinny jeans. It's not as big of a difference as going from the 70s to the 80s, okay? Or from the 80s to the 90s. So that's what a lot of people have been thinking. And, but yeah, I had no idea. The guy, I could look it up, I know, but he was like, oh, everybody looks like they're from 2015 here. They have 2015 fashion or whatever. I'm like, what even is that, man? But side topic too, real quick before I'm out of here, is that like the slang is all like, I feel like less creative than it used to be. You have like mid and vibes, which whatever. Bop is from the fucking 50s. That might be a little bit old now, but it seems like there's a lot of words that are just like not as creative as it used to be. The last creative one I remember was on fleek, which meant cool basically, as far as I know. Came from Atlanta, I think, part of the hip-hop world. But like, I feel like that's dead now. That maybe lasted a year or two, and like that, used to, you had to kind of ask what slang meant, but now it's like, it kind of feels like a lot of slang, saying mid and stuff just means mediocre. It's just like, it's not, or like looks maxing. Like, you can pretty much tell what that is already, you know what I mean? Shit like that. Like, it's just, it doesn't seem like really creative. It's definitely not as cryptic as it used to be. But anyway, yeah. Again, I know 90s fashion is back, but it's still, there's not much of its own character these days, and I don't know. Just the guy maybe said that made me think of all this shit.